This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
We are intentional about the stories we tell and the language we use in telling them.
Intentional about the people we speak to and why we speak to them.
Because here at Radio Now 95.3 FM, we aren't just telling any story.
We are telling your story.
And your story is all that matters.
Still with the conversations this morning, the Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC Roundtable on the role of the judiciary in Nigeria's democratic stability has ended in Abuja. IPAC's communique at the end of the roundtable highlighted discrepancies in the ruling on election matters, as well as inadequate funding as part of the problems faced by the judiciary. Joining us this morning is the former convener, Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, Ene Obi. Good morning, ma'am, and welcome to the conversation.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
What is your overview of the IPAC Roundtable, especially as regards its resolutions for Nigeria?
I think it's really exciting that IPAC has conducted this roundtable, and that's a new beginning, for so many things that we could see, because from the civil society angle, we have been talking about, the issues of political education by political parties. Not much is going on apart from campaigning and targeting to win elections. I think this is the first time that political parties are sitting, down and looking at exactly what to do, and then the number of people invited, the amount, the turnout was really, really great. Many of the political parties came, including the ruling party. In the past, when they invite people, I have attended a couple of IPAC retreats. In the last couple of years, almost every of their retreats have been part and parcel for them to look at what to do, how the next step, and then the bigger parties hardly attend, those retreats. But there's a lot that is happening now. I found out that the APC chair, in the last 1 year, it's been at almost every IPAC meeting that is inviting, and that is a good beginning for Nigeria. The meeting addressed the issue of judiciary. The role of the judiciary in sustainable democracy. We know that the democratic setup that we have had in the past couple of years is leaving a lot for Nigerians to really wonder whether democracy works for Nigeria. There is a shrinking space for the citizens in terms of having their voices, bringing out their voices. And that was really, discussed during this meeting. I think the level of the experts in some of the areas, some of the discussions, looked at the fact that democracy is the cornerstone for modern, governance. If it is a cornerstone, we are looking at, the definitions which was examined is like the government, which was even pulled down by the chairman of the of IPAC, says what we have, the kind of practice, the brand of democracy we are practicing, and I quote, it's government of the selected, by the selected, for the selected, end of quote. And that the true essence of democracy, as we know from the definition of democracy, is to bring us government of the people, by the people, for the people. And that is far-fetched in what we're having, because you have the political leaders and money bags playing, very, very intimidating roles, and denying their right to participate. The essence of democracy is for people to be able to participate. The equality
so, ma'am,
in terms of participation.
Let me ask you this, right? Part of the discussions you had at this roundtable meeting also recommended certain changes to INEC. and how it operates. You recommended the unbundling of INEC so that it focuses particularly on the conduction of elections, dealing with INEC staff who are partisan and a few other things. But this is now a legislative matter. It would depend on our national lawmakers to actually make amendments. What sort of confidence do you have that we will see a review of the Electoral Act before the next election cycle, the next major cycle?
I think it's not about the laws that we have. It's about the human beings that are implementing the laws. It's about the quality of those who are sitting on the bench. It's about the quality of politicians. It's about the quality of the electorate themselves. Looking at, I give you an example of some of the revealing environments, and that has to do with INEC. INEC staff, is INEC in control of their staff? If they're in control, because normally, if you look at Section 51, Section 2 of the Electoral Act, that talks about any polling unit that has overvoting, those polling units should be, cancelled. But in the case of a recent case that is on ground, I give an example of this state, where you have, in about 500 polling units, you have in Okene, you have registered voters of 6,054. But those who break, they're from ECA, recorded 138,837. I don't know if I have confused you or confused myself. You have in Adabi, you have 34,638. The voting that was registered from ECA is 89,574. In Okehi, you have 1,694. That's 1,694. Those who voted as recorded is 39,000. Over that, in 5 local governments, you have 286,437 overvoting. That's covering Ajaokuta, Okehi, and the Lokoja, Adabi, and Okene. At the end of the day, the result that was declared is that APC had 446,237, while SDP had 259,052. That's the SDP. And so you have one of the political parties, was giving 200 out of this excess number, 276,815. Right. And then the other party was giving 3,000 something. That's an example of what is happening over voting. And so the case is still on, and we have the judiciary sitting over this, and INEC has received this. They examined about 5,005 beavers machines.
Right.
Those are the rudiments that we need to talk about, and we hope that they are able to, calm down.
If I may, going back to the focus on the judiciary, are you effectively asking for judicial reform? And I ask this because some would say that part of that reform has begun with the salaries of judges that was raised by 300%.
Well, with the judiciary, the disappointment, there is a recent research that was done by the National Bureau of Statistics and UNODC. And Nigerian judiciary is one of the most corrupt in the world. It's recorded. But we have to also background of the fact that they are coming from the citizens. Citizens are corrupt. Politicians are corrupt. We are just focusing on the citizens. And that is why it's important that we are hearing this from IPAC, which is a coordinating mechanism for all the political parties to tell themselves the truth. And I do believe, and like I said in that venue, that, with corruption itself, the politicians are brutalized. You see that 2023 general election was decided by the judiciary, more or less, not by INEC. You have machines and you refuse to offload the machines. So unbundling of INEC and so on is the quality of the human being. The corruption in Nigeria, we have to be responsible. We have to have sanctions, and that should start from the president. Anywhere he's found wanting, he should be able to turn. And all his people must be held accountable by the judiciary, giving them more salary. Maybe you are trying to placate them, or you are saying a thank you for the good job they have done by the corruption they have used to bring the government into power. But it's good ordinarily for judiciary to have independence. We are hearing they are going to build houses for them and all of that. What happened in 2023 is a shame on Nigeria and on Nigerian integrity. All of us are guilty.
Ma'am, thank you very much for your time on this conversation this morning. And Obi is the former convener of the Nigeria Civil Society Situation Room, and she joined us this morning to speak on the communique issued by the Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC's Roundtable, which focused on the role of the judiciary in Nigeria's democratic stability. That roundtable happened in Abuja.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.